Good morning and thank you for listening. I'm looking at Exodus 14, about the Israelites that have just left Egypt and they're camping right in front of the Red Sea. They're facing two challenges. The first one is this profound threat of fear from the Egyptians bearing down upon them. I looked at that in the previous video. In this video, I want to look at the obstacle called the Red Sea right in front of them. It's this obstacle that is actually preventing them from moving and living in freedom. But I particularly want to look at how God gets them to the other side. You see, we can imagine that God can take them around the Red Sea, and if God was feeling really supernatural, He could literally pick up 2 million people and put them on the other side. He's capable of that. But we know the story. We know that God is a God of breakthrough. And in this particular challenge, God chooses to bring breakthrough by taking His people through the obstacle. Not around it, not by removing the entire obstacle, but by taking His people and allowing them to walk right through the obstacle towards their freedom. What I do, however, want to focus on today is the instrument that God chooses to facilitate this breakthrough. Exodus 14 verse 21, it says, "Then Moses stretched out his hand over the sea, and the Lord caused the sea to go back by a strong east wind." A very natural phenomenon, a very natural element that God chooses, but the purpose of the wind was to bring a shift. The purpose of the wind was to bring them into the freedom that God has spoken and enabled them to enjoy. But the effect of the wind is what I want to talk to you about today, because we got to be real here. A strong wind that is so powerful to shift an ocean and split an ocean probably caused profound discomfort amongst the people. Can you just imagine Moses saying to the people, pack up all your belongings, gather your children and your animals, and get ready to move forward? But this all had to happen whilst a howling strong wind was shifting the waters. Can you imagine them struggling to hear each other, shouting, not being able to quite see so well because of all the sand being blown about? Yes, this was the instrument that God chose to facilitate a breakthrough through the obstacle. It was the fact that God was in the wind, but it was very uncomfortable for His people. And they couldn't see and they couldn't understand, why does it have to be so uncomfortable? Maybe this is not God's will. But friends, I want to challenge you and I want to remind you that even Jesus Himself, the evening before He was arrested, was facing a profound obstacle, a profound challenge called the cross, crucifixion. And the evening before, He was spending time with His Father, asking Him to be gracious, allowing Him to go around, not to go through, maybe removing the whole journey from Jesus' life. But we know what happened. We know that God said, I will be with you and I will go through the challenge with you. In the same way, you and I sometimes face really challenging circumstances, obstacles in our lives. And with those obstacles sometimes comes profound, uncomfortable seasons. Uncomfortable maybe in the sense of a difficult relationship, maybe complicated work environment, maybe a health challenge or a financial challenge, and it's so frustrating. In the same way that the Israelites were frustrated by the sand being blown about, and disappointing and irritating, just hard. It's hard to pack up and move forward if the wind is so strong. It's hard to keep our eyes on Jesus when we are in difficult relationships or our body is not healthy or we can't pay what we're supposed to be paying. It's hard. But when we discover that God says that these difficult, uncomfortable seasons that we are experiencing is the tool that He is using to bring the necessary shifts to make a way for us, then we can start to see, okay, Jesus, I'm finding this really hard, but I will choose to keep my eyes on You because I know that You are shifting things in me and You are most probably shifting things around me so that I can walk through this obstacle, so that I can get to the other side of my challenge. In the same way that Hebrews 12 says that Jesus, for the joy set before Him, endured the cross. Do you know what that joy was? It says so at the end of verse 2 of Hebrews 12. It says that He could sit and be in the presence and in relationship with God His Father. You and I are invited into greater intimacy, greater relationship with God our Father in all circumstances. So we need to learn to trust God's character. His heart for you and me is good. And if He allows uncomfortable circumstances around us and in our season, then let us look to these circumstances and say, God, shift in me what needs to be shifted. Move and open my eyes so that I can see how You are making a way through this challenge. Oh, my friend, may you be encouraged that Jesus is always with you. Whether it's uncomfortable, frustrating, or even irritating, Jesus wants to shift things in you so that you can move towards greater freedom. Trust Him. He is the one who makes a way where there seems to be no way. Be blessed in this week in your relationship with Jesus Christ. Amen.